Imagine a political rival predicting the triumphant return of his adversary. That's exactly what happened when Valdemar Costa Neto, president of the Liberal Party and Bolsonaro's chief ally, boldly claimed that José Dirceu, once the PT's most controversial figure, would win big if he ran for state deputy in São Paulo in 2026. This isn't wishful thinking from a friend, but a calculated assessment from a seasoned opponent. Valdemar's prophecy forces both sides to reconsider their strategies, revealing the complex, often contradictory nature of Brazilian politics. The stage for 2026 is set, and this unexpected prediction has just handed us the opening scene. To truly grasp the weight of this high-stakes political bet, you need to understand the players and the history that shaped them. This isn't just another election cycle. It's a collision of legacies, ambitions, and the very direction of Brazil's democracy. José Dirceu, once Lula's right hand and the mastermind behind the Workers' Party's rise, was a symbol of power and strategy. But his career was derailed by the Mensalão scandal, a corruption case that shook the nation and sent him from the heights of influence to the depths of disgrace. For years, Dirceu has lived in the shadow of his past, but now he sees a chance for redemption, a way to rewrite his story and prove his relevance once more. On the other side stands Valdemar Costa Neto, a political survivor who has weathered his own storms. As the architect behind Bolsonaro's party, Valdemar has built his reputation on resilience and adaptability. He's seen as Dirceu's ideological opposite, pragmatic, shrewd, and always ready to seize an opportunity, no matter the odds. His journey is marked by controversy, but also by an uncanny ability to stay in the game when others have fallen. The 2026 election is more than a contest for office. It's a battle for Brazil's future, a referendum on the country's recent past, and a test of its democratic institutions. The stakes are enormous, with São Paulo as the ultimate prize. Whoever wins here will shape not just policy, but the national mood and the path forward for millions. For Dirceu, a win in São Paulo would be more than a political comeback. It would be a personal resurrection, a symbol of defiance against those who wrote him off. It's his chance to show that he can still inspire, still lead, and still matter in the ever-shifting landscape of Brazilian politics. For Valdemar, this election is a test of whether the electorate values resilience over scandal, pragmatism over ideology. It's about proving that survival in politics isn't just about avoiding defeat, but about adapting, learning, and coming back stronger each time. This isn't just about votes. It's about the soul of Brazilian democracy. It's about who gets to define the nation's values, its hopes, and its future. The outcome will echo far beyond the ballot box, shaping the lives of generations to come. The board is set, the pieces are in motion, and the first move has already been made. Now the world watches as Brazil's political giants face off in a game that will decide the fate of a nation. Dirceu and Valdemar's unlikely bond was forged in prison, both convicted in the Mensalão scandal. Stripped of power, they found mutual respect as political survivors. Their relationship isn't friendship, it's a pragmatic alliance, built on shared experience and strategic insight. Valdemar calls Dirceu a superstar, while Dirceu recognizes Valdemar's skill on the right. This unique connection gives Valdemar rare insight into Dirceu's potential, making his prediction more than just political theater. Their prison-forged understanding is the secret key to this unfolding drama. Lula wants Dirceu back, but the PT is deeply divided. Some see Dirceu's return as justice and a rallying cry for the party's base. Others fear it will revive old scandals, handing ammunition to the right and damaging Lula's government. The risk: Dirceu could become a lightning rod, turning the campaign into a referendum on corruption. The PT faces an identity crisis. cling to its radical roots, or embrace moderation for broader appeal. Lula's support complicates the debate, making open dissent risky. The party's soul is at stake as it decides whether to welcome back its most controversial son. Dirceu's name is still synonymous with the Mensalão scandal, a symbol of corruption for many Brazilians. His candidacy would instantly reopen old wounds, giving opponents ready-made attack lines. The right's strategy: make the 2026 campaign a retrial of the past, painting the PT as incorrigible. For undecided voters, Dirceu's return could reinforce cynicism and distrust. Dirceu's only hope is to reframe himself as a victim of political persecution, a narrative that energizes the PT base but struggles to reach beyond it. The challenge: can he convince the public he's more than his past? The specter of scandal is always waiting in the wings. Dirceu's comeback attempt isn't unique. History is full of politicians who've returned from scandal. Around the world, the phenomenon of the so-called resurrected politician is surprisingly common. Time and again, leaders who seemed finished have managed to claw their way back into the spotlight, often stronger than before. These stories captivate the public imagination, raising questions about forgiveness, memory, and the power of political branding. Berlusconi in Italy, Trump in the US, and even Brazil's own Collor de Mello all staged comebacks by leveraging loyal bases and reframing their narratives. Each of these figures faced scandals that would have ended most careers, yet they found ways to reconnect with their supporters. They used media appearances, public rallies, and carefully crafted messages to shift the conversation from their past misdeeds to promises of a better future. Their stories show how political resilience is often about controlling the narrative and appealing to deep-seated loyalties. These stories show that scandal doesn't always end a career. Sometimes it just pauses it. The public's memory can be short, and the hunger for charismatic leadership can outweigh past controversies. In many cases, politicians use the period after a scandal to regroup, rebrand, and wait for the right moment to return. The media's constant cycle of news stories can also help old scandals fade from view, making space for a comeback. In Brazil, regional loyalty and the passage of time can help voters look past old controversies. Rural communities and local networks often remain fiercely loyal to politicians they feel represent their interests, regardless of national scandals. Over time, the details of past controversies can blur, replaced by nostalgia or a sense of unfinished business. This dynamic creates fertile ground for political comebacks, especially in a country as vast and diverse as Brazil. Dirceu's supporters believe he has the ingredients for a successful return: a loyal base, a persecution narrative, and enough time since his fall. They see him as a symbol of resistance, someone who stood up to powerful interests and paid the price. For these supporters, Dirceu's story isn't just about scandal. It's about redemption, perseverance, and the hope for a political renewal that speaks to their frustrations and aspirations. The question: will 2026 Brazil be ready for another resurrection? As the next election approaches, the stage is set for a dramatic showdown. Will voters embrace a familiar face with a controversial past, or will they demand new leadership? The answer will reveal much about the country's political culture, its capacity for forgiveness, and the enduring appeal of the comeback story. The answer will shape the nation's political future, influencing not just who leads, but how Brazilians see themselves and their democracy in the years to come. Valdemar's prediction is more than just a compliment. It's a calculated maneuver designed to shift the political landscape. By publicly elevating Zé Dirceu, Valdemar isn't simply making a forecast. He's setting the stage for a high-stakes game of political chess, where every move is meant to destabilize Lula's base and sow uncertainty within the PT. By hyping Dirceu's chances, Valdemar stirs division within the PT, forcing party members to question their loyalties and priorities. The strategy is clear: Make Dirceu the face of the party and force the left to defend not just a man, but an entire era marked by controversy. This move puts the PT on the defensive, compelling them to revisit old wounds and justify past decisions, all while the opposition watches closely. The right's plan is simple yet effective. Turn the upcoming election into a referendum on corruption, using Dirceu as the living symbol of past scandals. By doing so, they hope to reignite public outrage and keep the conversation focused on the PT's vulnerabilities rather than their vision for the future. Every minute the PT spends defending Dirceu is a minute lost, time that could have been used to promote new policies, address urgent issues, or inspire hope. Instead, the party risks being trapped in endless debates about the past, while their opponents capitalize on the distraction. Valdemar is daring the PT to play on his turf, confident that this strategy will fracture Lula's coalition and weaken their message. He knows that by keeping the spotlight on Dirceu, he can force the PT into a defensive posture, making them appear out of touch with voters' current concerns. For the right, Dirceu is the perfect catalyst to revive anti-PT sentiment. His image evokes strong emotions, mobilizing protesters and reigniting old grievances. The opposition is betting that these memories will overshadow any new promises the PT might make. The 2026 battleground is set, memory versus hope, the weight of history against the promise of change. As the campaign unfolds, both sides will fight to define what Brazil remembers and what it dares to imagine for its future. Dirceu's candidacy is more than politics. It's a national reckoning. For some, his return is a betrayal, proof that impunity reigns. For others, it's a symbol of resilience and justice denied. This single campaign mirrors Brazil's deep divisions, forcing citizens to confront questions of justice, democracy, and identity. The debate over Dirceu is a proxy for the country's larger culture war. The outcome could either heal or deepen the nation's wounds. The emotional stakes are as high as the political ones. As 2026 approaches, the real power lies not with political elites, but with the Brazilian people. The choice isn't just about candidates, it's about the values and future we want for our families and nation. Our vote is a tool for accountability and a reflection of our principles. We must look beyond campaign promises and examine the character of those who seek to lead. Let's approach this election with clarity, unity, and a commitment to freedom, faith, and family. The story of Brazil's future is ours to write. Let's make it one we can be proud of.